All right, let's go through connecting our workbench to our database. I've started up the MySQL workbench in Windows and by using the Windows key and just searching for MySQL workbench. It's brought up the application, and I can do one of two things. I can either click this plus sign next to MySQL connections and it brings up the form to enter in your information, or I can go to database, manage connections, and then I can click new right here. So either one is fine. I'll stick with this one. We are going to give our connection a name because you can have many connections to many different databases. And the point of this is that you can save them, so you don't have to keep typing in the information every time. So I'm going to type in a name. I'll just say ACA week 1, day 1. We need to enter in 3 pieces of information. Everything else can just stay the same except 3 pieces of information. I'm going to put in a host, and I'll give you an example of that to use. Every database needs a user, so I'll give you that, an example of that to use. And then we need a password. So we're going to click this Store in Vault button that allows us to put in the password and click OK. All right. That's it. Everything else, just leave it alone. And now we'll test the connection. This proves that the information you entered is correct, and we successfully connected to our database. Okay, now I can just close that out. You've set up the connection. Now you actually want to connect. So you can click Connect to Database. The dropdown should have the connection that you just made, and you don't have to type in any more information. So we'll click OK. You may have multiple of these. If you disconnect by turning off the workbench or closing your computer down, you'd have to redo this, and you don't want to type in all that information again. So it saves it. I'm going to hit OK. And now it's going to bring up a window for you to start talking to your database. You've successfully connected. Over here, you have your database that you connected to. This is the example I'll give you. What you are going to do first is right-click and say Set as Default Schema. This makes the workbench know what database you want to use, because this is just like a file explorer. You could have many databases in here that you want to talk to. You have to tell the workbench which one you want to talk to at any given time. So we'll just say Set Default Schema for this one. We'll only have one database at a time, so this is simple for us. And now in this window, in this tab, you can now start writing any query you want to retrieve information from your database. Before you do that, you might want to know what tables there are, so you can look at the Visual Explorer and see, here's my database, here's my tables. I have a table users. I could select all from users. In order to execute the query against the database, we hit the lightning bolt sign, and the data that is retrieved will be shown in a grid right down here. This tab or window is exactly like your editor, your Visual Studio editor. You can open additional tabs just like additional files. You can save this file. You can open a file, a new file. You can open one from a folder. So it is just like your editor environment. If you have multiple queries, such as select all from users and select all from user address, you can do that, but in order to execute one at a time, you can highlight each one and click the lightning bolt. So I'll highlight each one individually, make sure you type the table name properly, and I'll lightning bolt whatever I highlighted so I can execute these queries individually. So that's very convenient, so you don't have to keep opening new tabs for different queries. Okay, I think that's it. We are ready to use MySQL Workbench now.